What's going on, everybody? It's Mike here from AHC Garage. Welcome back to the channel. Today's gonna be a big day. We'll be putting our engine and the transmission completely together. Let's take a quick look before we start.
All right, so we're ready to assemble. This is our original block from the car that we no longer need on the engine stand anymore. We have our new block, which is, this is the original block from our donor car. This is the original block from the SI that we're actually putting together. So now we're gonna get this one off of this stand, put this one on it, and then we're gonna start putting everything together. So that's pretty much our first step. So we're gonna go ahead and remove this whole assembly, mount it up to this, and then let the fun begin. Because this is fun. And it's a little bit of work, but you know, what's work when you're having fun?
I like this kind of fun.
Yeah, it's good fun.
Yeah.
Should line up correctly.
So we got the short block bolted up on our stand. It's ready to go. We got our new dowel set in place. So the deck's been cleaned. We're gonna probably wipe it down one more time. We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna get the head on there, and then that way we can start to build the front. Get the oil pump on, water pump, get the timing done, and we'll take it from there.
All right, so we're ready to put the head on, but the first thing we want to do is we want to make sure our mating surfaces are nice and clean. This is obviously very well done from our machine shop from Cylinder Head Exchange, but Miguel's going to go ahead and wipe the oil that's on there off. And we're going to make sure we have a nice clean mating surface when we go to put this on the head gasket. All right, so procedure says to coat your head stud bolts in oil. We just have some regular Honda oil here, some 1030. We're just gonna go ahead, whoops, put it there. We also want some to get on this washer. That's gonna help us from it making that kind of creaking noise, that skipping when you tighten down the head.
Yeah.
So you can see we went with brand new head studs here, or head bolts I should call it. You know, they probably weren't stretched, but we wanted to go ahead and just make sure that this car starts off with pretty much 0 miles on it.
Zero everything.
Yeah, everything brand new, fresh start. So, and that meaning this car will probably remain completely new because Mike won't drive it enough to put enough miles on it to ever have to replace anything that we're putting on the car. I'm pretty sure about that.
I'm gonna prove you wrong, John.
Oh man.
There's no way you're gonna drive this car enough to even do a timing belt on it. It's gonna be by time.
That is true.
Yeah.
But to prove the Integra Type R that we restore, I did put some miles on it.
Yeah, but you put like 2,000 miles on it?
Just about.
Yeah, right? All right, now it's time to torque the head down. The spec is 23 foot-pounds and then 63 foot-pounds in 2 steps. So we always want to do this in a cross pattern. So we're going to start here, 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 something like that. All right, at this point, after the head's been torqued down, which went perfectly, we're ready to install our cams and assemble the caps, because what we want to do is, you know, get everything up here put together first, then we're going to build down the front. So what we've already gone ahead and done is we put new O-rings here. This is what sends oil up into the rockers at the top here and lubricates our cams. So that's a very important one right there. I think VTEC doesn't even work because you lose oil pressure if you don't have that guy in there. We also put new O-rings on these. These also have oil that flow through them, but they also lock these cam rockers in place on the rod that runs through them. So we put new O-rings there, and here. Really important. Next thing we're going to do is throw some new cam seals on here and install the cams. We're also, when we install the cams, we're going to use some assembly lube on there. That's going to make sure we don't get any scarring on our first startup. This stuff's really good. As you can see, we used a bunch of this on all of our race cars here at the shop, and we're going to use it on Mike's very, very slow race car. But pretty, it's pretty. This is our intake cam. We can tell because it's slotted to fit the distributor key. So we're just gonna take this guy, set it straight on in there. We got our exhaust coming in here. Special delivery from Miguel. We went ahead and we got the new bolts that go on the cam caps, but we just went ahead and went with the ones that you can see, the ones that are exposed here. These ones were all in good condition with no stretching on them. And the head had never been off the car before. We took it off, so we know the condition of everything. So we have just these ones, so they look nice and shiny. They'll replace these guys. And now we're ready to install our cam caps. And there's an important step that you gotta make sure that you do when you install these cam caps. And I remember we missed it on my Integra the first time around just from rushing, is right here on this surface, you have to apply Honda Bond, right here. If not, you're gonna get oil leaks, and that's on these caps here near the edge, right here, right here. So we're gonna, sorry about that, I dropped the bolt. Oh man. What am I gonna do? Mike just bought it, I threw it on the ground.
It might be out of spec now.
Should we throw it away? I think we'll use it. So we're gonna go ahead and apply our Honda Bond and install these caps and everything else. All right, so we got our entire top assembly here bolted down. We're still gonna have to go through and do our valve adjustment. We'll do that once we have everything built. Now we're gonna start assembling the side here. We're gonna do our oil pump. We're gonna do our tensioner. We're gonna do our water pump. We're gonna do our side bracket. Then we're gonna put our plastic timing belt cover here, then our cam gears, then our timing belt, and then this whole side will be done. So here we have the first of many new parts here, our brand new oil pump. We probably didn't need a new one, but we're never gonna have to touch anything again in here. And we have everything lined out for the section that we have to do right now, and a bunch more to go for the next stuff. This is how we're staying organized. Let's go ahead and put this on. All right, so we got our new oil pump, and we have the new O-ring here. It goes right in this spot. What we're gonna do is we're gonna lay out Honda Bond over this entire thing. Then we're gonna fit this into its place just like that and put it onto the block. So let's go ahead and put the Honda Bond on.
All right, so John's getting ready to put the pump on. We've got our nifty rooster ring on there. We've
Who's
seen
that
it.
from?
4-piston.
Oh,
Yeah, man. We've used this on a couple of our builds, even customers' cars, and it works. Amazing.
Yeah. So it helps you to install the seal while it's installed or not installed. It makes it so you don't roll the lip when you put it on. This thing's awesome.
Yeah,
I used it on my beautiful four-door the other day. That car is incredible, isn't it?
It works really good.
Oh yeah. You didn't say anything about my car when
Oh no, yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah. To me. All right, so now we have everything ready for the timing belt. Miguel put these on time with each other. Our two dots or lines line up here. Arrows are facing up. Might have to move it a little bit. Now we're gonna move this one into place, and I think Miguel's gonna show you exactly how to line it up. There you go.
Okay.
And what are we looking for on there?
So right here on the oil pump, there is a mark here. We're gonna look for a mark on this pulley, which represents TDC #1 piston. So let's turn it around. As we approach around 9 o'clock, we can see the mark coming up here. So we're gonna get that directly in line. Probably somewhere around there.
Looks pretty good to me.
We see the keyway is up on the crankshaft, so we know we're good there. And let's get the timing belt on. So how I'm gonna do this is, I'm gonna start the timing belt here at the bottom. I'm gonna come up around here, and then we're gonna try to leave as much slack as we can on this side, because this is a tensioner. So we want as much slack here. We're gonna rotate the motor and pick up all the slack leaving this to pull it up, and I think we'll be good. So at this point here now, we have the belt on. This is on the loose side here, which is on the tensioner side. So there's a procedure to do this. This is still a little loose, but it's tighter than here. The procedure is a 3-teeth roll to the direction that the motor spins, and that will pick up all the slack.
And these are counterclockwise, right?
This is counterclockwise motor, correct. Okay. So we're gonna loosen this. You're gonna see it pick the tension up from the spring. Okay, so that just happened. Okay, now we're gonna roll the motor. Okay, we're gonna turn it counterclockwise. 2, 3. And look what that did. This
took all, we're looking to get the slack out of this side, right?
Correct. So this is beautiful to me. Just enough on the belt. Now, you guys that do B-series motors, I know back in the day, a lot of guys used to like to kick this up a little bit, put
like
more
a coat
tension
hanger
on
I've
it.
seen.
Yeah, you know, that is a recipe for the belt to fail.
Or wine. You make this wine, I think, too,
yeah,
right?
Yeah. It's just not good for the longevity of all this stuff in here. So this is how we do it. When the motor heats up and the belt heats up, this is even gonna get tighter, and I mean, you won't even be able to twist this.
Yeah.
You know, I know I've checked it on mine after running the car hard.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Yeah, she ain't going nowhere.
The factory procedure is the right way.
Yeah.
If you're making 600-700 horsepower, maybe you need a little bit more tension on there, but for what we're doing, this is perfect. And I know sometimes we like to just roll the entire motor over a few times and make sure we're right on our mark. Always roll the motor in the
direction of
the normal
fires.
Yeah.
And this motor is brand new, so
and no spark plugs.
Yeah. Ooh. She rolls with ease, baby.
Oh yeah. These are 2 to 1, so you'll have 2 rotations of your crank to 1 rotation at the top here with the cam gears. I think that's called money.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
On the dot. Perfect.
Still know what you're doing. All right, so we also have a new washer here. This washer is beveled on this side. This side always goes in towards the timing belt. What this does is help keep the timing belt in its place. If you put it this direction, what it's gonna do is eat up the timing belt. So always beveled in towards the timing belt. Now we're gonna put another key in this keyway, and then we'll put the crank pulley on at the very end. But first what we're gonna do is put our lower timing belt cover on, and then we're gonna put our upper timing belt cover on as well. We're gonna leave the top off. That's still gonna allow us to be able to see our cam so we can do our valve adjustment.
Brand new,
nice.
baby. I don't think I've ever taken one of these out of a brand new bag.
Yeah.
It's
We
pretty
do
cool.
need,
okay, and then
rubber
we
seal. I think there's,
also,
I don't know if that's the
yep,
one.
this is it.
That's the upper one.
Yep. We cleaned up the old rear housing because it's not available anymore. Did the best we could. It's still in good shape. The front housing was available, so we swapped that out. We got our new thermostat in there. We're also gonna replace a new fan switch. We're gonna outfit everything with new switches so that this thing runs like a premium.
Well, Miguel ran into a problem years ago, and he wants to make sure we don't run into this one. And his solution was a little bit of Honda Bond on this seal. It also helps with the inconsistencies in pitting in the block. If there's just a little bit in there, this is a little extra security. Not necessarily necessary, but we don't want to have no leaks down the road, so that's what's going on there. One of the most important parts here is our filter of oil. This is a made in Japan. Oof, very nice.
It was speaking Japanese.
It did. It said Tuan.
Yeah. So I'm ready to filter.
Yeah, El Toro. It's a Spanish filter. All right, so now we're ready to move on to this area here. We have a new one of these guys. We have to install our coolant temperatures, sensors, and bungs, and all this stuff here, and also our VTEC solenoid. We have the original one from the head, which is a little rough looking. Not that it doesn't work. We actually found a new one. It's on its way from Japan. But right now we're gonna put this one on. We have some new seals for it. And eventually we're gonna be getting some new hardware for it as well. But either way, with the way shipping is right now, we're gonna throw this one on and go ahead and put it together. So let's see how it looks.
Bad way to spend 10 grand.
Oh, yeah. All right, so we're ready to go ahead and start dealing with everything down here. First thing we have to put in is our windage tray. What that does is it stops the oil from contacting the crank, whipping the oil, foaming the oil up. It just kind of keeps the oil reservoir, which is the pan, free of this motion here. Then we have our oil pickup. That's gonna go right here. We have a new gasket, then our oil pan gasket, then our oil pan. It should be pretty simple to do.
All right, so we're getting ready to drop our oil pan on, but before we do, we have to bridge this seam right here with some Honda Bond. We don't want any oil to escape through here, run on top of our gasket, and have an oil pan leak. So there's 4 points here, 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 and here. We're gonna get that taken care of now, and then we're gonna put the pan and the bottom on.
When Mike found out that the oil pan was available, he had to have it. And for a very good reason. This thing is incredible. We never get to see them like this. So we're also putting the oil pan on with the engine upside down, which is something we usually don't do either. So let's go ahead and get this laid out. You also will know that the factory Honda oil pan gasket has a brass washer embedded in the middle of it. And if you don't, and it's on the rear main seal side, and sometimes that washer will stick to the actual block of the motor right here. And if you don't go out of your way to make sure that that's been taken off, you can stack 2 washers on top of each other and get a massive oil leak. Ask me how I know that. It's happened. So this is not in the manual, but my man Miguel has been doing this for years with really good luck. And he always puts a little blue thread lock on here and then puts it down. He's getting everything started, and once everything's started, then he's gonna go around and torque it down to the last thing, which you gotta do in a cross pattern. All right, so now it's time for the valve adjustment. The valve adjustment's a pretty neat thing, I think, because it's something that has a spec, but to understand the spec, you have to get a feel for it. And to get a feel for it, you gotta do it a few times, and then you really understand what it is you're looking for. And as I always say, Miguel has that touch. So I think I'm gonna support you on this one.
Okay.
And rotate the motor for you. But I do have you supplied with your tools, which we have a 7,000ths and 8,000ths. Which one is which?
7 on the intake, 8 on the exhaust.
And we have our special tool here for adjusting it.
Yep.
And so let's get it done. We're set to TDC number 1. We're going to do 1 and then follow our firing order.
We'll start with number 1. So this is intake, which is a 7. Oh, they're loose. Oh, wow. So is all this stuff.
That means tighten it.
Yeah. Yeah.
That ultra slick makes it nice too.
Oh, yeah.
You don't get as much bumping, but I can see it bumping.
Yeah. So that's what we're looking for. Just the slightest amount of drag. You shouldn't have to force it in between. You should just feel it bump right out from underneath there. And that's what's happening there. So we'll go ahead and lock this one down so we don't forget anything.
All right, so the valve adjustment's all done. The main man over here gave it the sweet race car treatment. Maybe Mike might be able to beat a stock Civic Si. I don't know. I think so. You gave it a little extra horsepower. You made it a little tighter?
I made them good. They were super loose. I mean, that's typically normal of a head that's been
rebuilt
back from the machine shop.
I think they replaced a couple valves too and some valve guides.
Valve adjustment is always part of the head installation.
And you're supposed to do it on the motor, right? Not on the bench?
I've seen someone do it off the bench.
I've heard of that.
Hilarious.
It is pretty funny. But so right now we're getting ready to start installing our accessory brackets. We're gonna put some of those on the back. Then it's intake manifold. We also are gonna be throwing our valve cover on, our spark plugs and our wires, getting this all buttoned up. And then we'll start adding some more brackets in the front here. Just so you know, 90% of this is getting brand new hardware. And it is a little confusing if we don't have all of our schematics and everything. And that's how we've been doing this, to ensure that we have the proper hardware. And that's what's taken us the longest out of this entire thing.
Yeah, labeling all the bags so we don't have to keep looking at part numbers. So that's kind of helped out.
Yeah, so we are reusing some bolts where you can't see them. No one's supposed to know that. But that's what we got going on back here. And we're gonna keep on going.
Let's get her done.
What we have here is we have our valve cover that we sent out to a guy we saw on Instagram and on Facebook. His name's Charlie M, and he has a powder coating service that he offers for the valve covers, and this thing came out beautiful. Let's see if I can open it up. Cut me. Ooh. Yes. Beautiful is what I call it. Now this is powder coated, and it's not the factory finish. This finish is similar to the factory, but you can clean this. You can hit it with some brake cleaner. You can hit it with some cleaner. It's not gonna change the way the finish is. It's gonna also resist oil, and it's gonna stay for a lot longer. Our buddy Mike got this on his car, so we decided this was the way we're gonna go. We're gonna pair that with a new valve cover gasket grommet kit, some new cap nuts, and all the hardware. So let's go ahead and slap this on and seal up the engine.
Valve cover gasket's laid in, but it's not finished till we seal the corners here. This is a 90-degree corner here, so we want to keep the oil from seeping out, prevent a leak. So we're going to put some Honda Bond in, and John's going to put the cover on.
That's what I'm going to do.
You are.
I'm good at that.
You are that guy.
I'm that guy.
final piece to the cover on top. So we're gonna get ready to put our idle air control valve on. We're gonna get our bracket on, but before that, we're gonna get our harness ran in here and get it pre-plumbed. You know, we may have to move some things around as we get ready to put it in, but that's pretty much where we're at right now. So gonna get started on that.
All right, so now got this old seatbelt. We're gonna use it to lift the motor up so we don't break our backs doing this, and also that way it won't scratch anything using the seatbelt. Seatbelt's very strong. If you ever go to the junkyard and get something pulled, this is what everyone uses. Seatbelt. So now Miguel's gonna go ahead here and toss on our rear main seal. We already sealed the case, the housing to the block. Now when he does it, what he's doing is he's catching the top seal, then he's compressing it down because there's a spring inside of here, making sure that the lip doesn't roll over. Once he does that, he's gonna tap her in, make sure he starts to seat it evenly and work his way around. Once he's sure that he's started properly, he'll use a 3/8 extension so that way he doesn't hit the crank with the hammer and can still send it in.
All right, so the rear main seal went in perfectly. Now next up, Miguel is going to remove the pilot bearing. We already got the flywheel resurfaced and it's perfect. Oh, just like that, huh?
Just like that.
And we obviously have a brand new OEM one right over here. Can't go wrong OEM here.
All right, so now it's time to do our clutch setup. So when we do our clutch setup, there's a certain way that Mike likes his clutch to feel, and this is his car, so we're gonna do it the exact way how he wants it to be when he drives it. So our go-to has been a stock flywheel, a stock friction disc, but to give us a little bit more pedal feel, an ACT, what's that, an Extreme? That's the Extreme or?
No, Street.
Street, that's the Street one. So yeah, this is like the entry, like a stage one. So this gives you a little bit more pedal feel over the stock. It's really, really soft. So it will help with engagement. This is a similar setup to what we have in the new Integra on my 23 Integra. So it'll give us a nice strong pedal feel, but still give us stock engagement. This is what we've been using on our Integra build, so that's what we're gonna do here. So that's what we're gonna go ahead and slap on. So now it's time to put our clutch disc on. We have our clutch alignment tool. This fits into the spline here. I like to lubricate this with some of our high temp grease. It just helps get everything ready. Excess needs to be wiped off. Now we take it in there. This will sit inside our pilot bearing. Just like so. On there like that. Mike went ahead and got a new clutch release fork and the spring retainer for it. So let's go ahead and slap this on there. Very, very fancy.
Take this one out.
We got the old one right there. It looks perfectly fine.
It's got a little rust on it.
I wonder how much this...
Mike can't have that.
Oh, yeah, because you know,
what I mean?
there is, if I'm not mistaken, I think there's a boot that hides all this, so you don't actually see it.
Boot's new too.
The boot, oh, the boot is new as well.
Well, he knows it's there.
But Mike will know. He knows. Nobody's gonna know. He'll know. So we want to take and we want to put a little bit of grease right down in this area. That's where the pivot, the ball sits. We'll put some grease there. We'll put some grease on this area as well. And we want to just do a light coat on here. So now once this is in, you got your release bearing, Mike? So we got the new release bearing right here. We'll go ahead and put it on. Let's see. There you go. Oof, how's that work go?
Ooh.
Very nice.
VTEC, VTEC, VTEC.
All right, so now everything is married together. We're gonna go ahead and replace our axle seal. That'll also allow us to install our intermediate shaft. And we're gonna do this other axle seal and also our shifter selector seal right here.
All right, guys, so we got the motor and the transmission safely on the dolly. Now, next up, we only got a few more accessories we have to put on. We got the power steering bracket, the distributors. We gotta finish the boot and the slave cylinder, the starter motors, the starter on the back, and few other small things. And we're gonna be all done with this. So let's go ahead and finish up with the bracket up in the front, then work the way in the back. Next up, we have the exhaust manifold, the cover. We got a brand new OEM exhaust manifold gasket along with brand new hardware. You guys take a closer look at the manifold. It looks almost like brand new. We're able to pick this up from one of the local sellers. His name is Christian. And this setup was sitting up at his parents' attic since 1999 office, 1999 Honda Civic EM1. And he was cleaning up the attic and just found this and listed on OfferUp. And we were able to pick it up for a very, very reasonable price. And next up, let's go and put up on our B16 motor. So the next step we're gonna finish up is the fuel system. We did order a set of brand new fuel injectors. With everything we've done so far, we don't want to take a chance of the injectors going bad. Let's go take a look at the old injector versus the new one. And here's are the injectors from our donor car, which have about 150,000 miles. As you can see, all that carbon buildup on the injectors. Again, they got about 150,000 miles already. With everything we've done with the engine, we can't take a chance anything else could happen. So we opt in for a set of brand new factory OEM injectors. It comes with everything that we need, the gasket, the O-rings. It should be pretty much a plug and play. So let's go open the package and then get these bad boys and the fuel rail on the intake manifold. And here's our fuel rail that's been cleaned with dry ice cleaning by CO2 Works. So all we have to do now is just pop in the new injector, then go straight back to the intake manifold. Well guys, with the brand new VTEC solenoid out of the way, we're all done with this B16 A2 motor from top to bottom. On the next episode, we'll be taking you guys back on the EM1, finish up the front and the rear suspension and also the interior before this entire power plant get back on our EM1. If you guys don't want to miss, make sure you guys subscribe to our YouTube channel and also follow us on our social media pages, both Facebook and Instagram at Acura Classic. My name is Mike, behalf of AHC Garage. Thank you so much for watching. We hope to see all of you next week.